Every Friday night, in Jewish homes around the world, parents place their hands on their children's heads and offer a blessing. It is one of the most intimate rituals in Jewish life, passed from generation to generation for millennia. For sons, the traditional blessing says, Yesimcha Elohim ke Ephraim uke Menashe. May God make you like Ephraim and Manasseh. For years I asked myself, why these names? Why not Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, the founders of our people? Why not Moses, the great liberator? Or why not kings like David and Solomon? Why bless our children to be like two figures who never led, never speak, and never take center stage in the Torah? The answer, I believe, has everything to do with how Jewish life actually works, especially for those of us living in the diaspora, and for families whose identities are layered, plural, and evolving. Ephraim and Menashe are Joseph's sons. They are born in Egypt. They are raised in Egypt. Their mother is Egyptian. Their culture, language, and daily reality are entirely shaped by a society that is not their ancestral home. They are the first Jews in the Torah who grow up fully outside the land of Israel. Abraham chooses to leave home. Isaac never leaves the land at all. Jacob's identity is formed long before the exile begins. But Ephraim and Menashe never knew other reality. Exile is not a disruption for them. It is their starting point. And yet, at the end of his life, Jacob adopts them as his own sons, elevating them to the status of tribes of Israel. In doing so, Jacob makes a bold statement. Jewish belonging is not limited by geography. Identity is not erased by where you are born. Holiness is not confined to one single place. This idea is taken up powerfully by some of our commentators and sages, who reflect on the unique role of Ephraim and Menashe in Parashah Vayechi. They explain that these two sons of Joseph are chosen as models for blessing because they grew up entirely in exile and yet remain spiritually whole. As one teaching expresses it, "Shenoldu b'Mitzrayim velo nitkalkelu." They were born in Egypt and were not corrupted by it. This insight is not praising isolation or withdrawal from society. Rather, it celebrates the possibility of integration, living fully within the world while preserving one's spiritual integrity and identity. Ephraim and Menashe lived fully in the world around them and yet remain deeply rooted in who they are. That is why Jacob chooses them as the blessing for future generations. We see this again when Jacob crosses his hands, placing his hand on the younger Ephraim rather than the firstborn Menashe. Joseph assumes it's a mistake, but Jacob insists it's intentional. This is not about favoritism, as we've seen repeatedly throughout the Torah. It is about wisdom for a complicated world. In exile, the rules are not always clear. Identity is not always reinforced by surroundings. Survival requires flexibility. Jacob is blessing these children for the world they will inhabit, not the one that he remembers. So why has this become the blessing we give our children every Shabbat? Because most Jewish children today, and especially across history, grow up exactly like Ephraim and Menashe did, surrounded by a broader culture, shaped by multiple influences, navigating belonging more than once. This blessing is not about greatness or heroism. This blessing is about continuity. We are saying, be rooted, especially in the diaspora, where it can be more challenging to maintain identity and connection. Live fully in your world, but stay anchored in your values, your heritage, and your spiritual life. I want to say this clearly. I love being a diaspora Jew. I love the creativity it demands, the openness it invites, and the way Jewish life learns to speak many languages while staying connected to a shared story. I love that Jewish identity stretches across continents, linking us to Jews around the world without requiring uniformity. But love does not mean living in denial. The challenges are very real. It is easy to forget one's origins. It's easy to lose a shared memory. It's easy to let identity thin under comfort, distractions, and success. It's easy to get so caught up in the present moment and our surroundings that the deeper bonds like history, peoplehood, responsibility can fade into the background. Ephraim and Menashe remind us that identity in diaspora is not automatic, it is cultivated. When parents place their hands on their children's heads and they say, "May God make you like Ephraim and Menashe," this is what they're saying. May you live fully in the world without losing yourself. May you belong widely and deeply. May you remain connected to family, to peoplehood, to memory, even as your life takes you far. This is a blessing not only for Jewish children, but for anyone trying to live faithfully inside complexity. The book of Genesis, Bereshit, ends in exile, not in redemption. And yet it ends with hope, because it ends with children who know who they are, even when the future is uncertain. Every Friday night, this ancient blessing that comes to us all the way from Jacob reminds us it takes love, memory, and courage to carry our tradition forward wherever life takes us.